For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast of 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years that games meeting. But I want to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on podcast services including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to join in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturists, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can by telling your friends, telling your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. What's going on?
I know. I'm hoping that no one can hear my fan because it's fucking hot as shit in this room. So I've got the fan on over in the corner, like way over there.
It comes in a little bit, but thankfully the Discord
there.
noise gate keeps it nice and cool. Because it's like the warmest day in months, and like my house is hot as hell.
It's like super muggy though because it's still wet and like flooded everywhere around here.
It's gross. But how's things?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing to report?
No, not really. Just, pretty boring weekend. Just, played the cleaning up game. Woo. Because we've got a house inspection coming up soon, so,
What a solid...
I figured if I just do like a couple of jobs each day, I won't have to like panic do it at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So like I did this room, which is why I've got like a little bit of a somewhat better thing to look at instead of just these ugly fucking curtains in the background. Just did some rearranging and all that fun stuff.
So like really riveting conversation open podcast with pretty much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was chill. I found my copy of the game of the year, Elden Ring. That was cool.
It's
I forgot that I totally bought this on disc.
Shift it a little bit too closer to your face because it's off camera right now. There you go. That's gross. Get that out. Get the fuck out of here.
Game of the year right there.
Oh, whoa. Not happening.
Followed by this absolute banger that I've been playing.
Order! Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just been chilling. About you?
Yeah.
Did you have a big birthday blowout that you didn't invite me to? You fuck.
No. So yes, it is my birthday today. I'm turning 33 years.
You're old.
I am old. Look, it's been a really good weekend. I was worried going into the weekend. So for those, a number of things happened around this time last year, and I was kind of really worried that coming into this weekend it would be uncomfortable, and so emotionally unideal. But no, thankfully, it was a very good weekend. So yesterday, myself, my new friend, Ange and his partner, we all went out and about. We were going to go to the driving range in Lewis, but Ange was like, "Oh, we don't have to book. It's fine." Proceeds to not book.
Rookie mistake.
100%, because that shit was booked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead, we went into town and we drank at some bar, and then we went and got chicken and waffles, and then we drank some more, and then we came back to here and drank some more and hung out. I knew you'd make that face when
motherfucker.
I literally may have said yesterday, like, Max is going to be so mad at me that we came and got chicken and waffles without him.
I mean, I wouldn't have cared if you had bought me some. Like, I live so close to you. Because it's like, delivered some to me.
Well, I did
You
discover this on
bastard.
Uber Eats. So for those that don't know, I'm sure we talked about it here on the show
It's
before.
not great on Uber Eats. I've had it before. It's not great.
Okay. So
they don't travel well.
There's a
They really don't travel well.
There's a local restaurant that we love called Pistol Pete's, and they specialize in sort of Cajun food. And the one thing that Max and I eat there religiously is chicken and waffles. Like we've gone there, and every time I'm like, oh, maybe we'll get something different, and then we end up falling short and get chicken and waffles every time. And then sometimes we go purely for chicken and waffles, and I'm pretty sure the guy that doesn't even question it anymore. I've not been there enough for him to go, oh yeah, Ryan, how you going? It's enough for me to go in. He looks and I go chicken and waffles. He goes, yep, tick.
I get that. Do you want candied bacon this time or no?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much like, do you want exactly what you normally do? Like a little bit. But no, it was great. So, yeah, we had some of that. We came back, had a couple of drinks and chilled out. So today, we went out for lunch with my dad. So he came down from Melbourne, which was lovely. Had a very chilled day. Went and saw my son, who gave me a lovely birthday present. It's bad timing because today is warm as hell. But he and his mum got me a new hoodie. And it's the Marvel characters and the little chibis, which is great. So I got myself a new hoodie because I only had just the one plain grey one. So having a new hoodie is good. Ange purchased me a backbone, so now I have my own backbone to play games in bed.
Oh, jeez.
What a sweetheart. Absolute sweetheart. So now, rather than having to be in the lounge, I can play games in the bed. It's just beneficial, or out and about, wherever the fuck I am. It's so good, very happy. But no, it's been a very good day. Being 33, wait, no, I was gonna say, isn't it like that Taylor Swift song? But no, that's about being 22. So that's very different because it's 10 years later and a lot older and overall more sad than being 22. And then there was 23. And then there was the Blink-182 song about being 23, not 33. And no one loves you when you're 33. That song is still mostly relevant to me and the way I live my life, but 33. But anyway, speaking of playing games though, because now that I can...
And you're 3 years too late for turning 30.
Yeah. Very, very true. But speaking of playing games though, now that I can play games in my bed with my sweet backbone... that's what the games we've been playing. So for those that may not have been aware, Max and my review of God of War Ragnarok is live. It is on the YouTubes. It is on the podcast services. Max and I were very kindly provided a super early review code from the team at PlayStation Australia, which allowed us to roll credits on the game like last week. Early this week for me, so it's really cool.
Yeah, right on the fucking line for you.
Yeah, right on the line. I was beating that buzzer just, but yeah. So that review is live. In short, the game's fucking fantastic. It's brilliant. You should totally check it out when it does come out on Wednesday the 9th, which is so bizarre because you know I'm talking about this because we recorded the review on Thursday of this week. And we're like, oh man, the game's out for another week, and I still have to go pick up my collector's edition. I have the controller. I'm like, oh yeah, and it's just like, fuck, I totally forgot, and it's just so bizarre knowing that I've played it and finished it. It's not even out yet, which is a lovely first world challenge to have. But yeah, so one of the things we also have planned is a big spoiler chat. So there's in the review itself, because of all the story spoilers, except the story beats, etc. We didn't want to spoil it for anyone, so we kept it pretty tight-lipped. But we have to talk about some of the major story beats that come out. And at the plan at the moment so far, it'll be Max, myself. We got hit up by Dylan from Platinum Explosion, so from the Explosion Network, so he'll be coming to join us, and we might see if we can get the likes of Padge and Joel Grolton from Anagame. Might do a big old massive God of War spoiler chat. One of the things I did pick up yesterday as well, just to sort of add to the funsies of it all, I picked up Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology book. I'm like, ooh, now that I've played the Ragnaroks, I'm like, oh, let's see what they pulled from and how they changed it and fucked with it and had a little bit of entertainment with it. So hopefully if my ADHD brain kicks in long enough, I'll sit down and read that. But yeah. But yeah, how are you? Like, obviously, the overall perception of Ragnarok is really strong right now. It's sitting at what, like 94, 95 on Metacritic.
94, 95 is where it's been teetering. I mean, it's great. Like, it really is. Like, you know, we struggled because there was so much we wanted to say, but obviously, you know, we want it to be spoiler free. We think everyone should be able to experience it the way we got to. And it's just it's one of those, like, it's the highest rated PlayStation 5 game so far.
Yeah, I think Elden Ring's higher technically. I think Elden Ring's
but it's not an exclusive PS5
Correct.
game. I think it's the highest Sony made.
Yeah, first party
PS5
published.
Yeah.
Which seeing as there's not a whole lot of first party published titles out there, it's pretty small. It's pretty small accolade, but yeah, with a 90, because the only things that are currently sitting at that on the PS5, including third parties, is Elden Ring's at 96. I think Persona 5 Royal is 95 because they just ported it to PS5, and seeing as Royal was near on perfectly reviewed, so it's an easy transition over to the port. Pardon me, and then Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Has there been any? Can you pull up Metacritic while we're sitting here?
As I blow my face out with the whiteness.
Yeah. Has there been any? Has been any? What are they called? Contrarians? Because, you know, like Death Stranding, we reviewed it really highly. We thought it was great.
Yeah, so Elden Ring sitting at 96, God of War Ragnarok's 94, Hades is at 93, Demon Souls at 92, Persona 5 Royale 90, Tony Hawk's 90, Final Fantasy and Walker 90. So there's a few, but like obviously the only one being a I guess technically Demon Souls too, but
Demon Souls is.
So we're looking for outliers, not outriders.
Yeah, as if you look at
for critic reviews, there has been 124 positive, 0 mixed, 0 negative.
Damn, that's some universal love right there.
Although when it pops up, there is it's 100, 91, 90, 80.
Okay. Not too shabby.
Yeah, it's universally pretty good.
And we would agree with that 100%. But yeah, so keep an eyes out on the feed for the spoiler chat. We should be able to do that one live because we'll be recording it post launch. So those that come
I guess it depends on how soon after launch we decide.
Well, we can do it live. People can choose to come in if they don't and if they want to. But as long as we meet the
like, oh no, we didn't know it was a spoiler cast.
Like, it's going to be in the name, mate. It's called God of War Ragnarok spoiler cast. But yeah, so we might be, because as long as we do it after launch, we cover ourselves from an NDA perspective. But yeah, it will be full blown spoilers. Yeah, I doubt the turnout would be quite low because everyone doesn't want to get spoilers. But has there been anything else you've played this week, Bess? Have you been playing any more of that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2?
I played a little bit more of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2s.
Because I went to JB today and I did almost pick it up.
I played some of the co-op multiplayer stuff with a friend. It's cool. Like, it's not the Modern Warfare 3 like infinite wave shooter. It's kind of like you have a set task, you go do the task, then you exfil and you leave. Mm-hmm. It's cool. It's fine. Multiplayer is still just a cesspool of nonsense and bullshittery. I haven't really touched the campaign much. I'm still having fun with the game. It's fun.
Should I pick it up?
I'm actually more looking forward to Warzone 2. This comes out in like 10 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, November 16th, I believe. Ooh. So keen for that. Nice. Obviously, the new Warzone. But I have been playing Entropy
Center. Yeah, so
Entropy Center, right?
I think it was Entropy Center. So there's this cool little
the Entropy Center.
Yeah, so I got this little email in the PR inbox, and I was like, oh, what's this? And they're like, hey, you fucking love Portal and wish you could play Portal again. I'm like, I do wish I could play Portal again. you should play the Entropy Center. I'm like, I will. So I put in a code request, and now sadly, like since we got the code, I played nothing but God of War Ragnarok. So I just played more of that, even after rolling credits. So I haven't jumped in, but my plan is to, probably in the next couple of days. But you sat down. Is the pitch correct? Is it like Portal?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yay!
It's Portal without portals, which is a real kicker.
Tell me about it.
So basically, the premise is it's very Portal. You're stuck in a testing facility where you need to use cubes to solve puzzles, and you have an AI in the form of your weapon that talks to you and guides you through said puzzles.
Okay.
Am I ringing any bells for Portal fans out there?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
So the big stick of this one is time reversal and rewinding.
Okay.
So instead of making portals and throwing portals through boxes, throwing boxes through portals, sorry, you essentially pick up the box, go to where you need to take the box to open the door, and then you run up to the door, and then you need to put the box back where it was originally, so you shoot it, and you rewind the time so the box moves back across the map, back to where it was to open the exit door. So essentially, you kind of just have to do a lot of walking around to set up the solving of the puzzle, and then you kind of just stand still and just shoot everything to make it go back to where it was. So there's a lot of back and forthing. So essentially, you have a plate here that'll open door A. You have a plate here that'll open door B. You have to stand the box on plate A, and then walk it over to plate B, and then walk it back over to plate A, so you can reverse time back to B, and then reverse time back to
Okay.
So there's a lot of setup, and then the puzzles are solved very quickly once the initial setup is done.
So
I'm up to like chapter 4. There hasn't been too much variance in the puzzles themselves. So I've just got to a point where there's essentially electrified gates which you can walk through, but the boxes will be destroyed if you walk them through there. So you have to work out how to juggle the boxes with time travel through the gates and whatnot. It's fine. Like it's cool. So far the puzzles haven't been like super difficult. They're very surface level, straightforward, very obvious. Which is fine, but
it is very much an independent game in the same way.
But you can definitely see that it's Portal. Like it's definitely Portal.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that too. Like you and I have talked before about how like there's nothing wrong with wearing your inspiration on your sleeve, and especially if you can like even if you're like, hey, this is like Portal, but it's slightly different. In that making a straight copy of Portal, that's a bit of a problem. But like I'm not quite sure of the history of this development studio. So for them, like this might be one of their first big outings. So this is them testing the bed. You know, their first release is very similar to an old game, and then once they go into the next step, they suddenly start being able to add more and more, and next thing you know, they've made a really impressive, unique game.
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
That's correct. That is very, very true.
It's cool. It's a cool little game. I played it for about an hour and a half straight. I got through to chapter 4, I think I'm up to. It's cool. It's cool.
Excellent.
And it's just a shame that because obviously with Portal, you know it takes into account like the velocity of the travel through the portals, and you can kind of launch yourself and whatnot. Whereas in this, they've got like dedicated launch pads as well as the cubes, and you kind of got to use your time reversal to get through things and rebuild entire structures with it. But it's very much a that's what I'm looking for. It's very simplistic so far. I don't know if that's because I'm just not deep enough yet, and they haven't gone buck wild with the puzzles yet. But so far, it's been very. Oh, this is obviously the solution. I just have to do this, and then just rewind back and forth between the two spots.
Yeah. So in the chat, MGB Live jumps in and says, so this is basically Portal and Blink's The Time Sweeper bashed up. All right, check it out. And after 40 years of gaming, it's hard enough not to remind people of X game. And that's very true. Sure. In the same way that, like, there's only 7... What's the theory? There's only 7 stories that can be told, ever. And they're all... Every story we ever tell is variants on that one story. So it's the same concept. Like, how many different ways can you make a game? And any sort of puzzle game based around boxes, it's Portal. But, like, it's not. but it is, but it's not. You know, it's that weird sort of line. You know, even if you want to break shit down, like, yeah, the new God of War is very similar to The Last of Us, and that they're both about parents and, you know, parental stories, as an example. Like, if you break things down enough, you can find similes in many, many things. Similarities, I should say.
Just The Lion King.
Yeah, just The Lion King. Well, Lion King's just Hamlet. Literally.
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy is also Hamlet. You know? It's one of those things. But yeah, another game we got a review code for this week is a game called Broken Pieces. I haven't checked it out yet, but it jumped out at me in my email because it had this very sort of Silent Hill energy. I was like, oh, cool. Well, you know, I haven't played, you know, with obviously the new announcement about Silent Hill coming back in some capacity. I was like, sick. I'm down for some Spooky Town energy. All right, I like this, but I'll be checking that out this week as well. A game that we did get like 2 weeks ago, and we finally just redeemed the code is new Tales of the Borderlands. So thank you to 2K for that one.
Yeah, I played it for like 15 minutes last night before I like proceeded to fall asleep at my desk. I just couldn't do it. I was so knackered by the time I got to sit down and play stuff last night, so I'll have to dive back into it.
Yeah,
but it's very Borderlands. Like I didn't play the first Tale from the Borderlands because I wasn't a huge Telltales person at the time. Yeah. The game looks real Borderlands like. I love that cel shaded graphic design that they use. It looks awesome. I got a trophy by accident because I didn't realize there was a prompt on the screen for me to make a choice. So it's like, you failed on purpose. Have a trophy.
Yay, I guess.
It's like, yeah, I totally didn't just not see the prompt because I was literally had my eyes shut because it was like 2:00 in the morning. I'm just like, I don't know why I started this.
Trophy, bing, hey.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So I look forward to diving into that a little bit more this week.
I also what I'm looking forward to is spending more time in PGA. I fucking love the PGA game, and I had a really good. I did my first little tour. I bumped up in the rankings, and I'm just like kind of keen to go back and just sort of. But now that I've got the backbone, I'm totally gonna go do it. I'm just gonna in bed, played some what's it called? Some golf. MGB in the chat asks, basically, if you like Telltale games, here we are. Now, can we get Poker Night at the Inventory 3? I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is, Max? Obviously, not having a big Telltale history. But like the one thing I know that they're one of the big Telltale games that has my attention, if you want to talk sequels, is Wolf Among Us. Because apparently that sequel's been in the works. Remember they got announced? Like, was it like last year?
Something like that.
Feels like it was recent, but also a long time ago. Even the Wolf Among Us, I'd be keen for that. Oh, Jerdman in the chat has come down. He goes, I'm rebranding from Jerdman to Jerdboy. Let's go. I know the Jerdman is quite keen to jump into Ragnarok next week. Or this week, I should say, as what day this week goes live. So get excited.
Just days.
Just days. Oh, if anyone go check out Christopher Judge's Twitter. He did a couple of really good dad jokes in the voice of Kratos. It was really good. Very, very funny. Like one of them was like, you know, what do you call an average factory? A satisfactory. It's like, that's dumb. Very good dad jokes. It was very, very good. All right, let's get in the section we call on the forum. The players, we tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
So arguably the biggest announcement in PlayStation this week was the fact that we now, as Brian dies on his 33rd birthday.
Trumpets and shit as I fucking die at my desk.
Was the announcement of the release date and the price tag of PSVR 2. So launching on the 22nd of February next year at a lovely price tag of $549 US or $880 dues here in Australia. That does include the device itself, the Sense controllers, and some really shitty headphones.
Yeah, I imagine it's those same pooey earbuds.
Yeah. Pre-orders do begin on the 15th of November, both through PlayStation Direct Online Store and other participating retailers. I believe it is also... there's also a bundle with Horizon for
Call of Mountain.
Yep. They also announced some of the launch window titles. We have Zenith the Last City, the MMORPG VR game, which is currently available for standard PSVR. There's the Dark Pictures Switchback VR, Hello Neighbor VR.
So before we jump into that, so the Dark Pictures and Switchback is essentially very similar to what Supermassive did with
Blood Rush.
Rush of Blood. So that was based in the Until Dawn universe, where this is based in the Dark Pictures universe. So very similar on the rails shooter by the looks, like a carnival experience, but it kind of takes you through the journey of all the Dark Pictures games. I said films then, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah, Hello Neighbor VR Search and Rescue.
Dope. So as I've gone on the record on this show about how much my son loves the Hello Neighbor games, and look, I admittedly have been enjoying them. And the number 2 comes out in a month, so I'll be no doubt buying that for he and I, and I'll play the shit out of this, 100%. And it's also coming to PSVR 2 and 1. So notice almost all the games in this list are either available on other VR platforms or coming to both PSVR 1 and 2. So that's more discussed on that in a second.
Pistol Whip. Cosmonius High. Cities VR Enhanced Edition. The Light Brigade. Crossfire Sierra Squad. Tentacular. Horizon Call of the Mountain. And Swordsman VR.
What's your initial thoughts on this, Maximus?
If it wasn't $880 dues, I'd want one. I hope EB do like a trade-in deal where I can trade in my old garbage one for like more than $150 dues. Would be nice. But yeah, it's staggeringly high considering the fact that it costs more than the fucking hardware that you need to run the bastard.
I know that is the big catch. Yeah.
Now, related to is this purely because the dollary is just so garbage at the moment compared to like everyone else's dollar? But at the same time, if it's $550 in US, like $879 is not bad considering.
Yeah. So
the exchange rate and all that.
The big difference here. So the buy-in price on this is actually not. It's still gnarly, but comparatively not so much. So in the original PSVR pickup, all it came with was the headset, right? You had to buy the camera, that was $100. You had to buy the wands. Now the wands are $120 if you bought them new. If you happen to buy the old PS3 ones, you can get them really cheaper. But very quickly, the entry price to PSVR aligns with this very, very quickly, excluding any launch games or anything that it comes with. So yeah, it's high, but it's also relative compared to what it was for the first.
And then I guess the other argument is like you don't have to have a camera this time, so
yeah. But the gears,
I know.
I'm in no way being an apologist.
It's all that. Like, it's baffling that a piece of hardware is more expensive than the thing that runs it.
Yeah,
that's a hard sell.
That I agree with. Like, in no way am I being an apologist about this. I do believe the price is fucked. But, like, I'm trying to think from a practical sense, right? In that, okay, cool, the cost of things are higher. Is this bad timing on Microsoft's part? Fuck yes, it is. But then they couldn't predict the world's economy being a hot mess. So when they would have
you mean PlayStation, not Microsoft?
Sorry, thank you. My brain went somewhere else. With PlayStation, Sony could not have planned the world economy to be what it is right now. So when they started processing this and getting it into productions in 2018, 2019, they had no way of thinking the world was going to shit itself. So like universally, every currency is hot shit right now, and they're all fucked. Means of production are super fucking expensive. Inflation is a thing. Yeah, but the problem that I have here, like I can sit here and justify the price in enough ways to go, oh look, I get the price. Am I going to pay it? I don't know. I'm going to probably pre-order it because I might if I can somehow like suck enough dick between now and February to pay it off. Sweet, I totally will. But I kind of want to just secure one, even if I can.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because like what I might even do is just use some of those Patreon dollars, and then like that, and then you and I will just lend it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you want to play it? Here you go, borrow it for a couple of days. And
we'll have a time shared PSVR.
Yeah, we have a time shared PSVR. It's the safest bet.
It's like you can have it every other weekend and on Wednesdays.
And then we have to pay like child support and get visitation rights. It's a whole thing. But
you only get supervised visitation.
yeah, you can have it, but I have to be
like
with you.
stand there and watch me every time.
We can only meet in public places like parks and shit. You know, it's just.
Yeah,
But look, that's the thing. Like, I want to check it out because I do thoroughly enjoy PSVR. Do I play it enough? No way. But I still love the tech, and I think the potential of PSVR 2 is way greater than PSVR 1
that
will
was
ever be.
my whole thing. So like for like the first month of having my PSVR, I went hard. Like I was playing Beat Saber like every day. Like I love VR, but it's such a fucking pain in the ass to set the bastard up.
Yeah, and that's
there's like 30 million cables. The wands are never bloody charged, and then for some reason they just think they're attached to a PS4, and they just it's just a whole hot mess.
Well, that's the problem that I have, because I've got the PS3 ones, right? So they suck anus, and then the batteries in them are shit. Then when you, in order to get the thing together, so the breakout box is what, 3 cables. It's the HDMI. Oh, sorry, it's 2 HDMI cables, a power plus a USB. And then you've got the 2 cables sticking out of the front. So that's already absolute chaos. Where now, the PSVR 2, it's just plug straight into the front in the USB-C. Done. Brilliant. Amazing. That's a success. That intrigues me enough. Now, I thoroughly love PSVR when I played it, but the frequency at which games were releasing was not fast enough. So with most VR game experiences lasting a couple of hours, you play it and you get it done. Like, you know, in terms of the games that we've reviewed over the time, we did Iron Man VR. It's like a 6-hour experience. We did the Vader Immortal 3 chapters. 8 hours, I think, in total. You know, Job Simulator, you get about 2-3 hours out of it. You know, the only one that was super lengthy was Skyrim. And that was sweet. Like, being able to play Skyrim, that was fucking awesome in VR. Like, Super Hot was really cool. Beat Saber, you play as much as you want. You know, like, that's fascinating. But, like, even looking at this list of games, as I mentioned, a lot of them are either coming to PSVR 1 and PSVR 2, outside of Horizon Call of the Mountain, and a Firewall, which is a second-party studio. There's very limited first or second-party releases. So everything is third. Everything else is on something else. At this moment, there is nothing that makes me go, oh yeah, cool. Well, this is the, aside from Horizon, which, like, that's a must play. That's the only challenge for me. Like, the price, the barrier of entry for the price, huge. Now, the advantage that we have is the nature of what we do. We're relatively incentivized to pick one up and give it a burl. Especially if we can use some of our Patreon money or, you know, some of these things to sort of subsidize that cost, because we're using it for the show. And if you're happy to, you know, timeshare it, perfect. You know, shared custody, brilliant. And we're also very lucky in that if we are, like, we'll be able to get the games, because we'll just ask and we'll get review codes and it'll be done. So, you know, we aren't the best example because we don't pay for games that often anymore these days. Not a brag, but a little brag. So the overall cost of the whole experience is different for us. In the chat, Jerdman asked, Resident Evil Village Lady Dimitrescu Simulator. Oh, yeah, Resident Evil Village is coming in VR. I want to play the fuck out of that. That'd be awesome. Resident Evil 7 in VR was brilliant. You know, get good old spookies up in there. You know, like, there's enough reason to do it, but that barrier of entry of cost is just crazy.
Huge, yeah.
Let me have a look to see if there's any chats here in the comments. MGB, I know it's going to screw me for the afterpays, but I'm getting it. I love the first PSVR. Yeah, and I guess, like, afterpay is an option, I guess. What, 4 payments of $200? That's not bad. That's more manageable, I suppose. But then again, I would much rather just pre-order it at EB and then pay it off throughout the year, like, you know, through between now and March. Yeah. February, sorry. You just go in every week and put money on your pre-order, which you totally can do. Firewall was very good. Jerdman believes it's too pricey, which is a bummer. Of course, it's mentions of, like, Astrobot, Firewall, VR Worlds, etc. Yeah, that's true. The VR Worlds was something else. Jerdman says I can suck his dick for money, so that's pretty good. What else we got there? But yeah, it does look to be pretty fantastic. and I think it might be worth $1 reduce. But one of the ways that I think PSVR would be better and would incentivize more people to pick it up and play it is if they made it part of PS Plus, right? So you get your you get your PS5 game, you get your PS4 game, your 2 PS4 games, and you get a VR game, right? Cool, done. That's how you incentivize people, because that might work, seeing as PlayStation are currently losing PS Plus subscribers. So this week it was confirmed in the financial reports that Sony has lost 1.9 million PS Plus subscribers in the past 3 months in its Q2 fiscal year 2022 financial results reveal. It means that the service's member count drops to 45.4 million, down from 47.3 million in its previous quarter. Excuse me. This is the first full quarter since PS Plus underwent a revamp and introduced 2 new tiers under PS Plus Extra, PS Plus Premium, or Deluxe here in Australia. This is the third quarter in a row that Sony has recorded a loss in subscribers, with the service's peak being a count of exactly 48 million in Q3 of fiscal year 2021. As for why it's lost members this past quarter, Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki pointed to the decline of sales for third-party titles as well as the PS4 system itself, and that, quote, more people are going outdoors, end quote. Max, what's your thoughts?
It's not surprising that it's lost. The people have dropped off. The basic PS Plus titles have been fairly average of late. And yeah, I guess it's one of those things of like, how many of those people have dropped off because they've decided to either jump ship, or they're just no longer gaming anymore, or they're doing like... The circumstances around the drop-off could be so many different things. It may not be as nefarious as first thought. I mean, the drop from 47 to 45 mil in the grand scheme of things is still not bad. Like, if 45 million people are still subscribed, like, that's fine. Like, they're not going to have any huge issues with that. But yeah, like MGB puts in the chat, I wonder how many of those people were Australians wanting to play PS3 games with their new service but can't because we just don't have the...
Yeah, the marketing around that was pretty well documented, though, in terms of PS3 games not available here. So if anyone did do that, I'm sorry, you just didn't look into it enough, I guess. But then again, because Sony did.
No, I don't know if people went, oh, surprise, we don't have PS3 games. I'm gonna peace out.
But you know what? The real answer is they go, oh, PS Plus, like, oh, cool, they're going to have their version of Game Pass. Oh, it sucks. That's where they're losing subscribers. People have transferred to this new system and gone, oh, let's check out this games catalog. Oh, it looks pretty cool. And they learn very quickly that Sony have no idea what they're fucking doing, and they have not incentivized it, not grown it. So anyone that did want to pick it up and play the likes of their PS1 classics or whatever, they've been disappointed because Sony in no way are delivering on anything they promised with PS Plus.
I also don't think that's really an issue either, to be fair, because they didn't have that to begin with when they had the original 47 million subscribers. So they've dropped 2 million subscribers in not just deluxe or premium, but in just the basic essential tier. Like, they just left the service completely. Like if you weren't happy with the games catalog anyway, but still wanted to play online games, you still need that essentials to play online. So there's just 2 million less people playing online in the Sony infrastructure that they had.
But there's a couple of asterisks
might not necessarily have anything to do with, oh, we're not getting the games we want, or this is a shittier version than this. It's just we're not playing games online anymore, therefore we don't need this.
Yeah, but the predominant amount of free-to-play games that are available, the online multiplayer games, are free-to-play, which therefore do not require the subscription to play.
Yeah.
So you like your Fortnite, you like your Warzone. So people may, like, they're already playing their sort of free-to-play games, and they're incentivized by this subscription service to go, oh, maybe I'll jump into PS Plus. And they said this is the third quarter in a row that they've lost subscribers. What has released in the last 9 months? PS Plus, the tiered model, right? There's the answer. Additionally, cost of living has drastically changed. The idea of paying $10, $15, $20 a month for something is just unfeasible at the moment for many people. And so as they start dropping their services, because thankfully PlayStation haven't increased the cost of the PS Plus in the last year. However, they haven't in like recent times. However, like Netflix has gone up, like Binge, Stan, Spotify, you name it, everything everywhere is asking for more money per quarter, or per month, I should say. So people have to start balancing their dollars and like, well, what's worth it and what isn't. And if you go, well, I'm paying for this service and it's not giving me what I asked for, pull it, or there's like, oh, I don't watch Netflix as much as I used to, pull it. I mean, it's one of those things you just got to pick and choose what you do. Yeah.
Henry Cavill's no longer the Witcher. Netflix is gone.
Yeah, Netflix is fucking out of here.
All right, well, let's talk about some beloved franchises.
Oh, yeah.
So last week we spoke about Sony building a new internal development team in partnership with PlayStation Studio Visual Arts. Another job listing in the San Diego area has given us more information indicating that this mysterious team will be, quote, co-developing an exciting new project with Naughty Dog in a beloved franchise, end quote. According to reporting from Bloomberg last year, Visual Arts had initially wanted to remake the first Uncharted game, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, but due to the nature of that title and the work that would have been required, priorities were instead shifted to The Last of Us Part 2. So does this mean we're getting a new Jak and Daxter game?
Yes.
Or are they just doing Drake's Fortune?
Well, so look, this is the thing. So for the longest time, the rumor mill has been that there is a side team at Sony San Diego, the team most known for their MLB The Show. Cool. Side game, they're working on Uncharted. This has been the rumor mill forever. Right? But the common rumor mill around here is that they're making a sequel to the game, not a remake. But looking at the model that Jim Ryan and crew, Herman Hulst's crew, are currently wanting, it actually lines up more that they'd want to remake something, because that seems to be their MO at the moment. I was always hopeful that they'd be extending the story of Uncharted, but I think sadly, at least with the attitude that they're having at the moment, I'm going to say it's very likely it's a remake of Drake's Fortune. Disappoints me, but that's the answer. Why can't it be a sequel, you fucks? Stop remaking everything. God damn. Look, sometimes remakes are really cool, though. An example being Ratchet & Clank Remake in 2016. But this week, Ratchet & Clank turned 20. So to mark the 20th anniversary of Ratchet & Clank, 5 games will be coming to the PS Plus Premium this month, except here in Australia, as we don't have PS Plus Premium, we have PS Plus Deluxe. So they get the original, so they get the Ratchet & Clank on PS3, Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, Ratchet & Clank Deadlocked, and Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction. So,
so despite the fact that most of these were fucking PS2 titles, they've decided to give us the PS3 remasters, which is why Aussies don't get them.
Yeah, so as everyone that knows, we currently so the PS3 with its cell architecture, it's very difficult to emulate. It can only be emulated through a PS3 itself. Like unless your console has the cell processor in it, you can't fucking do it. So they had to use PS Now as a service, where you remote in to a server farm somewhere that's just full of PS3s, literally. That's what they need. So Australia, as of right now, still does not have support for that service, and as a result, we still cannot play PS3 games through the PS Plus, which is bullshit, because our internet has gotten so much better as a nation since. And
we only get like a $10 discount on the service for missing like 60% of the software that's supposed to be offered.
Correct.
It's crazy.
It's absolute fucking nonsense.
Well,
it's one of those things, like, you want value for money, right? And that's what you're looking for. But hey, we're paying this much. We want value for money. And it's absolute fucking bullshit, because we want to give you our money. And PlayStation like, nah, man, we don't want your money.
Yeah, we're getting essentially like 40% of the library but we're still paying it 90% for the value.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Like, take my money.
Well, talking about people who won't take your money, Ryan, Kojima Productions has established
My
following
segues are on fire today, by the way.
Kojima Productions, established following Hideo Kojima's unceremonious departure from Konami, has been the subject of multiple acquisition offers, but it's not for sale. Speaking during an episode of his Brain Structure podcast, Kojima admitted he'd received some, quote, ridiculously high figures to sell the studio, but doesn't want to be absorbed into a larger company. Quote, let me reiterate that we are indies. We have no affiliations whatsoever, and we are not backed by anyone. And every day I am approached by offers all over the world to buy our studio. Some of these offers are ridiculously high prices, but it's not that I want money. I want to make what I want to make. That's why I created this studio. So as long as I'm alive, I don't think I will ever accept these offers. End quote.
Well, let's touch upon that first,
Yeah.
and then we'll touch on this next part.
Yeah.
So this is fascinating because, like, one of the things everyone talked about, like, oh man, PlayStation should buy Kojima Productions, and I think especially on the back of the controversy that you mentioned with the likes of Konami, and
Konami has just hurt him so bad that
Very
he just
much
wants
so.
to be his own man.
he's like, yeah, like I never want to be dictated to by a greater company in the way that Konami essentially tried to choke him out. They eliminated him from the franchise that he helped build and like create. Like he's like one of his babies, literally, you know, and to sort of to not have that control, like I think he'd much rather work in that second party exclusive model where they're like, here's a bunch of money where you you buy the milk, we keep the cow, you know what I mean? Like that's probably the safest bet. Like I wonder who, like I imagine there's been offers from PlayStation. I guarantee you there's been offers from Microsoft and old Phil Spencer. I imagine he's pulled out that wallet to try acquire. I reckon Braces hit them up. I reckon everyone anywhere with dollary dues has said, hey, let's chat.
Tencent have thrown some. Tencent have thrown their 2 cents in.
Yeah, 10 cent through 10 cents.
But in other Kojima news, following reports earlier this week that footage of one of Kojima's next games, Overdose, was doing the rounds on private Discord servers, the gameplay has now been leaked online. The footage, however, has been recorded by a topless man on his mobile phone.
There's so much unnecessary nip in this video, by the way.
Which is pointed at a laptop which is running a seemingly private YouTube video. You can catch a glimpse of the man throughout the video, but once the footage comes to an end, all you have to look at is his left pec for a few seconds.
Like, this reminds me of like, remember there's a picture that went around the internet a number of years ago about someone like selling their kettle on eBay. They took a photo of it with their wang out, and because it was a stainless steel kettle, it's just this dick with a kettle. Like, why did this dude not think to put on a fucking shirt? Like, hi, I'm about to leak this footage of Kojima's new game. Make sure my tits are out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna leak some info, leak a game. This is gonna be cool. Also make some money on my OnlyFans. You know, like it's ticking all ideas. MTB Overdose ? That's the actual name. No, I believe that's the. It might be the production name, but there's been no confirmation of what it is or isn't called at the moment. That's just the name that's been thrown around. I haven't watched this yet. Have you seen and watched this yet?
No, because when I tried to follow the link, the video has been removed.
Yeah, I'm sure I could find it somewhere if I went digging.
I'm sure I could too.
But then again, if I want to just see random nips,
I know the actress who played what's her name in Death Stranding? Mama?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that. She's in this gameplay.
Yeah. Cool,
Can't think of her name though. It's eluding me.
Yeah, I remember. Cool. Actually, like, it's funny. Like, we're making fun of this dude getting.
I'm scared to click on that.
Oh
link,
no! So in the chat, Reverend Park jumps in, puts in reddit.com/r/mirrors for sale. There's so many dicks. The amount of people that just take photos and not consider, like their panguses, is bizarre. Like the amount of people that take photos of their dicks and put it out on the internet, purposefully or accidentally, shouldn't. The people that should be confident about their fun areas.
The people who should do it don't do it.
Yeah. But people that shouldn't totally are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with this. Thank you, Park. Margaret Qualley. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, god damn it. All right, quick bits.
As Ryan talks about his dick on the
Yeah,
internet.
yeah, cool. Phil Spencer says Call of Duty will be on PlayStation, quote, as long as there's a PlayStation out there to ship to, quote. Fucking Phil Spencer, stop saying two different things. Make up your fucking mind. Tell the goddamn truth and just resolve this.
He is. He's saying that as long as there's a PlayStation out there...
But this
we'll ship it
contradicts...
to it, but it's like super ominous, as if he's going to like destroy PlayStation.
The contradiction of this is like, hey, our agreement was till 2027, and now suddenly it's forever. He is full of shit in either direction. So either this whole time, the plan is for it to be there forever, and he's just skirted the truth, or the plan has always been to restrict it and remove it at some point, and then he's talking shit. Phil Spencer, just like Crying Jim Ryan, are both fucking liars. Like they are paid CEO fucking liars. Phil Spencer is full of shit. Jim Ryan is full of shit in the same way that he's like, exclusivity is bad. Check out this next 16 exclusives coming out of Square Enix. They're just coming to PlayStation.
I thought you were going to be like, Discord's coming early 22, lol jokes next year.
Well, that too, right? You know what I mean? But like, and then the same goes for Phil Spencer. He's like, we can't say any, like the fucking the Bethesda deal. I know I talked about this before. So, we're not allowed to say anything about the Bethesda acquisition because it's legally we can't talk about the acquisition and mergers until they happen. Oh, okay. Then why are you not shutting the fuck up about the Activision one? The amount of things that you said you couldn't talk about Bethesda, but are suddenly open dialogue on the Activision one, make up your fucking mind, you lying prick. You're lying Phil Spencer and crying Jim Ryan. It's bad. Fuck's sake. The Last of Us HBO series has confirmed to have a date. It's the 15th of January, 2023. It'll be available on HBO Max if you are in the US, or on The Binge if you are here in Australia. Fuck yes. Get my nips are hard. I can't wait to watch this fucking show. But if you can't get enough of Last of Us Escape the Dark board game Kickstarter will launch next week. Probably gonna buy it. I'm gonna throw down some dollary dues. Did you throw down dollary dues on that Elden Ring one?
No.
Boo.
No.
Wait, does this one have minis though? Last of Us?
Don't know.
What?
I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it too because I assumed it was going to be expensive. Onama, aka Square Enix Montreal, has been closed after the recent Embracer Group action. Okay, so here's the fun thing.
Right after they rebranded them, they're like, we don't need you anymore.
So this tells you that Embracer Group have no fucking idea what they're doing. The left hand doesn't talk to the right, and their job is just to... And this only reinforces that their plan all along has just to buy IP. We've been talking about this for years. Well, it feels like years. So... the Embracer Group picked up Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, all the studios that the Square Enix, all the Western studios, the Square Enix sold earlier in the year. They picked them up. Cool. They rebrand Square Enix Montreal into Onama. New logo, PR, press release, you name it. They go all fucking out, and then within weeks they go, oh yeah, we're shutting the whole fucking thing down. So why invest the money in the rebrand to then simply shut it down? Because they got the IP from Square Enix Montreal. Now, granted, that's what... The only games that they really made a consequence was like Tomb Raider Go, Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go, something else, I guess. But apparently the statement around this is like they want to focus on more hardcore console releases rather than mobile. So they bought this... I think maybe this is one of the things like, hey, if you're going to buy...
Square like Blood Rain and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I guess. So it's one of those things that they're like, hey, if you want to buy Crystal Dynamics, you want to buy Eidos, you have to get Square Enix Montreal. Like, fine. It's like the dud prize, right? If you want to buy this, you got to buy all of them. Like, but I want that one. But it comes with it. And so they're just closing it down. So they're gonna try repurpose a lot of individuals from that studio and send them over to Eidos Montreal. They're in the same city, so just move them over there. PS exclusive Ghostwire Tokyo could be ending its exclusivity run soon because I believe it did also have a year similar to Deathloop.
Yeah, so apparently in the Bethesda head office, There's a big wall mural of Ghostwire Tokyo with Xbox Series S and X branding on it already.
Ooh, exciting.
So, yeah, it could be sooner.
Bungie says players with the PS5's, quote, are still running the PS4 version.
Yeah, apparently there's a shitload of PS5 users still running the PS4 version of
Because they just
Destiny
forgot to
2,
update it.
They just didn't download the PlayStation 5 version. Apparently it's staggeringly high, according to an article. Which is crazy because it runs in 4K at like 60 frames in the PS5 version. 120 in Crucible and stuff. But you don't get that if you're running the PS4 version. So check it.
If anything, that only demonstrates PlayStation's inability to correctly handle this multi-platform rollout thing. Twitter user Nible has stepped away from the space to focus on other things. Okay, fun fact. All right, so Nible, or Nibelian, was one of the most, like, a really predominant voice in the Twitter space, especially around game news. But their entire thing was just sort of, hey, regurgitating news in a lot of ways. They then tried to launch a Patreon this week to be like, hey, come, pay for some stuff. And everyone was like, why? All you do is tell us news that we can find anywhere else. And the Patreon was unsuccessful, as expected. And he went, oh, shit. Like, this dude's got like 500,000 Twitter followers, and none of it translated over to his Patreon. So, like, it's a bummer to see him go, because it is one of those names that you would see constantly within, like, being quoted. Like, he's a prominent voice in the Twitter game space. But when you realize that you're outside of that platform, you don't offer a whole lot, it's a bummer. Like, outside of tweeting stuff, he didn't have a website. Unlike Jason Schreier, who works at Bloomberg, or what's that other dude that's really prominent in the leaking space? What's his name?
Tom Henderson from Inside Gaming.
Tom Henderson, he's prominent on Twitter, and that's where he leaks most of his stuff. But he has other platforms to work alongside. So, in the same way that, Schreier has podcasts and Bloomberg and history over here and there. And, like, he's done kind of everything. Like, there's more to him than just his Twitter feed. Where Nible only had one thing, so... Joe, man, how about people who build their entire content based off unboxing stuff on Twitter? Very true. Unboxing stuff in general, that's like such an expensive thing to only ever be your platform. It's one of those things, it's diversifying what you do. Now, granted, we say that diversifying what you do, we do one thing. We do a PlayStation show on YouTube, on podcast services, but we are available in everywhere, and if, say, we don't get traction anywhere, so we're fine. Like, our numbers are low. It's all good. Speaking of, please tell people to listen to this show. It'd be much appreciated. It'd be really nice. So we're fine. 3 Marvel games are to be developed by EA, kicking off with an Iron Man game. And that ends up the quick bits. Do you want to see an EA fucking Marvel games?
No.
Why is there so many Marvel games? We're saturation point in the movies, for fuck's sake. Don't spill out into games and shit, all right? Fuck. It's enough.
Upcoming titles. Spoiler, there are no Marvel games.
Yeah.
We have Sonic Frontiers, PS4, PS5, November 8th. Return to Monkey Island, PS5, November 8th. God of War Ragnarok, PS4, PS5, November 9th. Save Room, PS4, PS5, November 11th. And Tactics Ogre Reborn, PS4, PS5, November 11th.
All right, so clearly God of War Ragnarok's the big one, especially for those that listen to the show. Big fans of the PlayStation. Monkey Island should be pretty cool, but Tactics Ogre, that seems like a Max game.
Yeah, I believe it's a Square Enix remaster of the OG Tactics Ogre.
It is. Do I need to talk to Square?
Maybe.
Deal. The Puck, this podcast brought to you by Marvel Snap. Wouldn't you love that, Max?
I've totally been playing Marvel Snap this whole time. Do love Marvel Snap, though.
You do. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok's the answer. Go check that out. November 9th. Play it on your PS5 or your PS4.
Sonic Frontiers looks rough.
Yeah.
I played it at PAX a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I
can confirm was rough then. Probably is still rough now.
Yeah, it's very likely the game is still poo even on release, because not a lot would have changed between that PAX build and this build. But anyways, that does bring us to the end of the show. Big thank you to everyone for taking the time to listen to the show. As I say each and every week, one of the greatest things you can do is choose to spend your time with people, and because time is a finite resource that we all have. So thank you so much for choosing to take time out of what time you have available to listen to us bullshit about PlayStation. It's much appreciated. Max, send them home.
Well, everybody, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on podcast services including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. But if you'd like to join in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below. If
you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/PopCultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturists, as well as our merchandise store, popculturists.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. Oh no! Singing happy birthday to me in the chat. What a sweetheart.